Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is WAZIF HISAM and I'm from class A4CS23048. Today I'm going to present about my assignment 2 for subject CSC508, which is Q and stack. Okay, let's move on. Today I'm going to explain the difference between stack and queue. For the first point, yes, stack is an abstract data type represented by a physical stack of entities where insertion and deletion take place at the same end. Meanwhile, queue is also an abstract data type similar to the stack, except it is open at both the ends. For the second point, stack is based on the working principle of LIFO, meaning last in and first out. And for queue is based on working principle of FIFO, meaning first in, first out. For the third point, which we have, is object can be added in the stack one at a time, meaning the object can be removed, which is added last. Meanwhile, for queue, the object which is added first can only be removed from the queue. And the fourth point is stack use push to add item to the stack and pop to remove item from the stack. Meanwhile, for queue use enqueue to add item to the rear and dequeue remove item from the front of the queue. And next, for the last point, stack has only one pointer is used. Meanwhile, two pointer are used in a simple queue case. Okay, now let's move on to my project that I made to explain more about stack and queue. Okay, let's see. Okay, first I has grocery store class because I made system about grocery store. Here I have five attribute, which is product code, type, product quantity, product price, and name. And then we has default constructor, normal constructor, copy constructor, HISAM method, mutator method, and toString method. Okay, now let's move on to linked list class. Okay, for linked list class, I have three attributes, which is first node, last node, and current. And first we have default linked list constructor. Then we have public boolean is empty constructor to check whether the linked list is empty or not. Then we have public void insert at front, which is to add new object data at the front of the list. Then we have insert at back, which is to insert data at the back of the list. Then we have insize to return the number of elements in the linked list. Then we have remove from front that we use to remove the first element in the linked list, which is first node. Then we have remove from back. In remove from back, we remove the tail, the last node from the list. Then we have public string print, which is the same as string, but this one we use instead. We use in linked list. Okay, now let's move on to queue class. In queue class, we have public queue, and this is public void enqueue, which is we use to add data into our queue. Then we have public object dequeue, which is we use to remove data from the queue. Then we have public object get front, and we get the first data in the queue. Then we have get end, which is we use to get the last element in the queue. Then we have public boolean is empty to check whether the queue is empty or not. And then we have public string print, and that's all for Q. Move on. This is my empty list exception class. It return the list is empty if the list is empty. Now let's see stack class. For stack class, I has we use push for stack, right? So this one push, which is the function is to add data into the stack. Then we have pop to remove item or data from the stack. Then we have pick to get the first element in the stack. Then we have public boolean is empty to check whether the stack is empty or not. And then we have public string print. Okay, move on to the infig to postfix class. Okay, this one. Okay, let's see. The public char pop is used for specified for char. Okay, next we have public boolean is empty to check whether the stack is empty or not. Then this one is public char p is also specified for char. Then we have public class infig to postfix. Now let's see. Public string to postfix is used to convert an infix expression to postfix. And this is the coding. This is push. We push the bracket. And else if we push back the bracket. This is the coding. And operator pop, which is we remove the bracket from the left. And else print operator occurring before it that has greater precedence. Okay, next. This is the coding for infig to postfix. That's all. Now let's see list node class. For list node, it has default constructor, normal constructor, and get data constructor, get next, and set data, and set next. Set next, which is we set the next data, and to print, which is we use to string. Okay, now let's move on to the main class. So here I create a queue, which is G1 as my queue. I have initialized the attributes, and now let's see shall proceed y. This is to proceed. Okay, first to add new product. This is the coding to add product into the queue. Yeah, G1 add dot enqueue grocery, which is we take data that user has entered into the queue. Okay, for second which is we want to make a summary for the price in our stock in grocery store. Here I initialize sum, average, and sum quantity, and I create a temporary queue, which is temp queue. I also create object GRS. Okay, first we want to find sum quantity, total quantity, price in stock in our stock. So this is the coding, and here I insert the data into temp queue. Okay, this is the coding to find average. Move on. This is I take back the data from the temp queue and insert it back into our queue, which is G1 queue. Okay, move on. This is the coding to find minimum and maximum price in our stock. Coding. This one to find minimum the lowest price in our stock, and this one the coding to find the highest price in our stock. Okay, and now this is the output, the coding to show the output for all our coding. Some quantity, some average, mean, and max. So after doing all of that, I will take back the data from temp queue and insert it back into G1 queue. Okay, and let's see. Okay, for the third request, uh, this one is to search data. Here I initialize temp queue. I create a new temp queue. This is search one. This is the thing that we will use next. Okay, here to take data that has been input by the user, and here the coding to find what the product that user has been searching for. If get product code equals to search, which is the input data from the user, it will return true, found equal true. Okay, so if found equal true, system will print the toString for the specific product. If it's not true, which means the product does not exist. Okay. Every time after doing the coding for our request, we must take the data from our temp queue and insert it back into our G1 queue. And here is the coding. Okay, continue. Okay, this is the coding to insert product with price lower than 5 ringgit details into the stack. This is the coding. I create a new object, objb, and a new stack, which is product as my new stack. This is the coding to find which product is lower than 5 ringgit. And if we find the product is lower than 5 ringgit, we will insert the product from our queue into our stack. Here is the coding. Product as push store for. So push we use to insert data from the queue into the stack. Every time, every coding that we want to use for the stack, we use push to add data. Then I create another stack, which is product S1. Here, I take data from stack product S and put it into product S1 stack. Okay, move on. For the 5 request, we want to delete data into the stack. And here is the coding to delete data, all the data in the stack. Okay. Here, if the stack is empty, the system will send an output the stack is empty. If it's else, it will return our request to delete the data is failed. And last but not least, the last request, which is infit to postfit. So here we put our expression, then our system will calculate in our infit to postfit class, and it will return output. Okay, now let's move on to output. Okay, let's see the output. Our first request, we want to add new product into our queue. I want to insert 3. First product code 1, 2, 3. Product code, but plain shirt. Product type baju or shirt. quantity is 10, and the price is 15. Our next data, we want to insert a code 12424, product name bayam, product types vegetables, product quantity 15, the price 4 ringgit. And our last data 125 for product code, this product type food, quantity 10, 30. So the price is 3 ringgit. And now, yes, after we insert all the data, we want to see the summary in our stock. See request number 2 to see the summary, and here is the summary. So we have total 38 product in our stock, and the total price 249 ringgit. Average price for our product is 6 ringgit 60 cent. Lowest price for our product is 3 ringgit, which is bilis, and highest product price is 50 ringgit, which is the plain shirt. And now let's see for search. For search, I want to see bayam. I want to search for bayam, which is product code 124, and then return the detail about bayam. Okay, now we want to insert the product that has lower than 5 ringgit for the price. Yes. And request number 4. Okay, here is the stack. We already moved the product that has lower price than 5 ringgit into stack, which is we have bilis with price of 3 ringgit and bayam with price of 4 ringgit. Okay, now we want to delete all the data in the stack, which is we want to delete bilis and bayam. Request number 5. So the system asks is if we want to delete the data. Yes. Okay, now the stack is empty. Okay, now for the last request, we want to see the infeeds to postfades expression. Okay, input a plus, example a plus b multiplied by c, and then this is our postfade expression, which is ABC multiply and plus. Okay, that's all from me, I think. Thank you for your time, and thank you for teaching me. Assalamualaikum. Bye.